been thinking of the stories that our elderly have been telling us and building routes out of that, how to improve our businesses. Now our next panelist will be an interesting gentleman, Mr. John Quilter, who is the co-founder of Foodbusker. He's an entrepreneur, he's a broadcaster, he's a chef, and he'll be telling us how to use the social media and what's its impact on today's restaurant world. Thank you. John.
Thank you. Nice one. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can. Cool. Okay. Wow. Let's get this piece of tool here. Right. Hello. How are you? I know you've got a coffee break to get to, so I'm going to try and go as fast as you were. That was amazing. So, right. Okay. Now I've got a little aid memoir. So, I wanted to start by asking a question. Don't need an answer straight away. But what's the biggest problem with a restaurant, and particularly when you open a new restaurant? What is the biggest problem? Have a think about it. We'll get back to it. Okay, so who am I? This is me. Oh, it's a bad photo, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, just look at those curls. That's just bad glasses. Chin's not looking too good. It's not a great photo. I'll give you that. But what do I do? Okay, well, I do a lot of things. But one of them is I sell coffee. That's better, isn't it? How cool is that? It's beautiful photography, beautiful cup of coffee. You can imagine that if you're having coffee in the morning, that's where you want it. And that's called Crew Cafe. And we're out there just at the back. We put organic and fair trade coffee into Nespresso-compatible pods. We've only been going a year, but we're in Harrods. We're in every room in the Soho House chain globally. We're even looking at doing a roaster next to the farm that they're launching. This time thing's amazing, isn't it? It just completely gets you focused. Okay, so so I sell really good coffee in Nespresso-compatible pods. And, hands in the air if you've got an espresso machine. Come on, just bloody hell. Okay, right, come and see us afterwards, and we'll give you some coffee. Oh, I'm glad I came. Right, now, it's organic, it's fair trade, it's a recyclable pod rather than an aluminium one, and it's the best coffee from around the world. Nespresso hasn't got a chance, right? I mean, you know, George, it's not happening. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. There's, it's not my best day. I'll give you that. Jeez, that's when I'm a chef as well, you see. I used to be a restaurateur, and I do some media, which I'll tell you about later. But luckily, for some of us, it's not just about what we look like. There's more to that. Thank you, sir. Everybody stop laughing, by the way. You're still going. Don't worry. So, it's not just about what you look like. So I'm fortunate that I do a lot of other things. So I've just got a brand new program out with the BBC. It's on a brand new platform called BBC Taster, and it's the first ever interactive cookery program on the planet. It's called Kitchen Bitch, so you'll have to forgive me, but check it out. I work with Jamie Oliver on FoodTube. I've got my own YouTube channel, Foodbusker. I cook on the streets of London. You try my food, and you pay me what you think it's worth. And it's a successful series with Jamie. And I also have a couple of TV series with London Live, which is the TV channel for London. So, and that's based on what I'm going to be talking to you about today. So I'm here to talk to you about social media. A little bit more on what the lads were talking about earlier. But I guess that's the thing is, you asked my killer question, by the way. Damn. So put your hand in the air if you've got an interactive device. Come on, put your hand in the air. Who's got a digital phone? Obviously, most of us, all of us. And most of us haven't just got one. We've got a laptop or a tablet or a whatever with us. We carry with at least two if you're traveling, yeah? So that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I'm here to talk to you about social media. I'm here to talk to you about social dining. We'll come back to him in a minute. Now, he's angry, isn't he? Right, the question is, if you run a restaurant and you walk up to your head chef and you say, look, you should be tweeting, you should be on Instagram, that's the sort of reaction you get, isn't it? It's like, you can forget it. What's the point? Interestingly, though, Mr. Ramsay's got 2.1 million followers on Twitter. Jamie has got 4.2 million followers on Twitter. And Jamie has been one of the guys that's led the way socially. His website, jamieoliver.com, has been leading the way for decades. And actually, Their ambition is to be at the top of every search of every dish on the planet. You've got to think big. And that's what we're here to talk about today, I think, is how we should be operating differently in restaurants. If you hear what's been talked about, restaurants, the way to look at restaurants today is to look at it like we used to look at the music industry. Restaurants are an act today. They're a performance. In many ways now, they're a traveling act that go around the world. Heston Boys, they're off to Oz. Ash and Tom are flying there. They're doing it for 6 weeks, is it? It's like going on tour today. The music analogy is perfect to get your head round. If you're launching a restaurant, you're launching a production. You're launching a show. As we've been talking about, it's a story. So we're here to talk about that. And it's getting better, isn't it? Like the haircut's sorted out. The glasses are slightly better. Anyway, it's getting there. So the new restaurant business plan. It used to be that to get into the restaurant game, you had to have $1 million in the bank, you had to whack all that capital up front, you'd open the doors, and you were not sure how it was going to go. You'd probably have to drop down at least 10, if not 15 grand with a PR company, and who knows what they will bring to the door. But now there's a completely different way, is that you can use social media. We've now got businesses, you've got so many examples of people that have given up their job, usually in finance, and they've come into the world and said, right, I want to make cheese sandwiches or I want to make pizzas. And they can go onto a market and for hundreds of pounds, not millions of pounds, start testing a product. And within 6 months, they've got a food truck. And now they're in for a couple of grand, but now they've got a following. And they can go anywhere in the city, and they're getting accustomed. And then, within 12 months, they've got some bricks and mortar. That is revolutionary, and we're all aware of that scene today. But how are they able to do that? They're able to do that with social media. Social media enables us to do a number of things. It gets us to test the rules of engagement with an audience. You get to understand, you get to test, and you get to seriously limit your exposure for your investors. That is social dining, that's the new business plan. So, social is social. It's an ecosystem where people are willing to share. Once upon a time, you had to pay pots of money to get into the game, to understand the game. Now, you can go to an ecosystem and you can participate in that. 20 years ago, a food critic decided where we went. He would write a piece and we'd all go to that place. That doesn't work anymore. It's still relevant, it still plays a part, but it's been significantly diluted by the community. Today, a younger audience don't want to go where the critic goes, they want to go where the community goes. And they want to participate in that conversation. They want to go where the bloggers tell them to go. They want to go where the celebs go. But it's not just about that. It's about the participation in that. That's why it's a collaborative economy. And this is how we have to think, is that it's about that collaboration. That's why you've got lots of situations. Great suggestion about hotels creating these incubators. And what we should be doing in the catering world, especially hotels, we should be looking to the entertainment industry and we should be looking to the tech scene to talk to us about how we should be operating. We should be bouncing forward 10 years and start leading the way. And this leads me on to this. So that's why crowdfunding has become so popular. With Crew Cafe, the coffee business, we went on there, we raised a small amount of money. We didn't do it for the money. We did it to raise our SEO. We went out there to raise our profile. We got 250 customers. They gave us a chunk of money up front. We hadn't done anything. We didn't give any equity away. We just gave rewards. And suddenly, we've got 250 people shouting about us, and we haven't made one cup of coffee yet. They got us into the market. We went out there, we created a fantastic blend, and the Sunday Times voted that coffee the best coffee in a pod in the UK. So you can't mess around. You've got to do a good job. But people invest in people. Why do they invest in people? Because they believe in you. And if you want them to believe in you, you've got to come up with a good story. You've got to wear your heart on your sleeve. It's got to be real. It can't be fabricated. That's why crowdfunding is so exciting. The guys that have got the burrito business, there they are at the back. All right, gents. You know, they raised 4 million. And they raised 4 million through their crowdfunding because they said, you'll get a free burrito every week for the rest of your life. But that's it. It's things like that that make you go, I bloody love these guys. I'm getting involved. And it's those sort of things that you have to do. And often, those things cannot be contrived. They've got to come from who you are. They've got to be real. So what is the biggest problem when opening a restaurant? Any ideas? Is the penny dropping? Is it about lots of penny droppings? It's about getting people. It's about getting noticed. In the London restaurant scene, for me, it's the hardest restaurant scene in the world. Getting noticed there is a massive deal. You've really got to shine to get out there. Wouldn't we all love to be at the top of Google search? If you're a burger restaurant, you put burger in and you came in, John's Burgers. That's a viable concept I've got, by the way. If anybody wants to get involved, just talk to me afterwards. The biggest search engine in the world, right? Wouldn't you kill to be at the top of that? People pay hundreds of thousands of pounds each year to get up there. Biggest search engine in the world. The second biggest search engine in the world is YouTube. It's owned by Google. Oh. Now, I know somebody who puts imaginary content on there, because if you do well on YouTube, suddenly you go up the ratings in Google. Now, this is the most cost-effective way for you to communicate about your business. How many of you are participating in video in your establishments? And I'm not talking about that horrible corporate stuff that a wedding photographer does for you as a favor. Video is the most exciting tech that the restaurant world is missing a massive trick on. And it's incredibly cost-effective. But it can't be some contrived nonsense. It's got to be real. So, Cupcake Gemma. Does anybody know Gemma, by the way? No. Oh, you do? Good man. It's my business partner. It's being funny. So, Cupcake Gemma. So Gemma is a girl from London. She loved cupcakes, and she used to do them in her one-bedroom flat in North London. She now has 250,000 subscribers on YouTube, on FoodTube. She opened a cake business at the beginning of this year, and she is mobbed. 50% of those people that follow her knock the door down every day. They're 16-year-old girls who love her because she's got a fringe, tattoos, and she does cupcakes. And she is able to leverage that audience in a host of different ways. She started baking cakes 5 years ago, and she's one of the biggest success stories in London. Her YouTube channel is on FoodTube with Jamie. Now, there's this other fella. There he is, look at that. I'm talking about the guy on the right with the glasses. That's me, right? It's getting better. So, I'm the food busker. So, I want to tell you a little bit about how I leverage my YouTube channel and how I use social media to help my coffee business. So, that's me with Jamie doing a live show for FoodTube. FoodTube is Jamie's play in the digital world. Jamie is a disruptive entrepreneur. People see him as just this chef, but actually he's got over 10 different businesses. I think his man Nick's here. Nick, are you here? Give us a wave if you're here. Hey, mate, you all right? Jamie's a great leader in what we do. And what's amazing about what Jamie does is that he has always been about doing new things, about being ahead of the curve. And that's why 2 years ago, he went into the digital space and created FoodTube and DrinksTube, online content, which is huge. Now, I was telling you about creating videos. I did a video. It was a hot dog. It went out on there. It cost me £200, and I got 200,000 hits. Suddenly, 200 quid for 200,000. That's the most effective spend of money you're ever going to get in any sort of media PR opportunity. Why would you give 10 grand to a PR agency that often do nothing and you get nowhere? Where if you've got a guy in your business who shines, if you've got somebody that's passionate about what we do, we all know that in this sector, it's about people. You can come up with the concepts, you can do so many things, but if you haven't got good people, you are screwed. You should be putting those good people and using them in a resource that they will really enjoy and that's rewarding. And we also know in catering that if your heart's not in it, it's not a great job. So I leverage those videos now. So now I make coffee food, I make coffee drinks. They go out on DrinksTube and FoodTube. They then go on to jamieoliver.com as a blog, and we're able to leverage that interest. So Jamie tweeted a recipe the other day. I got 1,200 new followers in a day. We do a new blog. We get 1,000 views onto our website in a day. How many of those do we convert into customers? And we tinker with it, because when they come, we can see how many people bounce off immediately, how many people stay, how many go through. We can look at the heat map and see where they went, and we can keep fine-tuning and fine-tuning until it goes like that. And that's exactly what they do with YouTube channels. If you don't know about YouTube, you should be worried. If you're not planning to use video this year in your business, you should be worried. If you don't understand this side, then you are going to be left behind. Social is absolutely, I'm running over. It's really important. Right, okay. Should I tweet? You know you should. You need to do. You need to get involved. And it's interesting. In this sector, Instagram is a massive tool for getting new business. Buy my coffee. I was going to do it more subtle. I'd got a whole play. I got ahead of myself, slightly messed that up. But if you're interested in great quality coffee, come and talk to us. My business partner's just at the back there. Give us a wave, Colin. There he is. He's being interviewed on the news tomorrow night. So look out for him. We're interested in meeting anybody that wants to get involved in our business, but also would like to talk about this. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.